Hey everyone, welcome to Crafting with Emily. I'm Emily, this is Tulip. And we have Mr. Winnie. Woo, where's my finger? We have Mr. Winnie over here as my other couch gargoyle for the day. Today we are I know. Today I'm doing what's called a WIP in chat. So WIP stands for Work in Progress. I am currently working on Hannah Lynn's Cozy Morning Coffee. And we are actually working on the little kitty cat. So I'm going to turn you around so you can see what I'm working on. Oh my goodness, bless you. It's thematic that Tulip has decided. Bless you again? Oh my goodness. Bless you. Bless you again. Are you done? She's okay. She's a very sneezy cat. We've cleared it with the vet. She's fine. Will you stop? Oh my gosh. So we're gonna work on the little kitty cat today. While I'm working on my work in progress, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what's been going on in my life. It's been a little while since I recorded one of these, so I have some things to catch you up on. So I'll tell you a little bit about this project. I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on in my life. And you can craft along with me. I have a crispy Diet Coke with a pure lemon packet in it. So grab a drink. You can craft along with me. You can just have me on in the background, whatever works for you. My goal, I've mentioned before, my goal on this channel is always just to provide a warm and welcoming experience, or a warm and welcoming space. So that is my goal, and however you want to use this video to accommodate that or to make that warm and welcoming space for you, that works for me. So I'm going to turn you around so that you can see where I am on my Hannah Lynn canvas now. And then we'll get set up so that we can start working on this particular square, and I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on. I do need to get Miss Tulip situated since she obviously needs a little bit more attention. So we'll do a little bit of movie magic, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, you guys are looking down at my workspace. Here she is in all of her glory. So my washi tape is peeling up here. This is Cozy Morning Coffee from the Premier Collection of Hannah Lynn Diamond Paintings. I have finished up to this little section here. You and I are going to work on this section with the little kitty cat's face. I'm going to be a little less than halfway done once we're through this row. I think she's turning out so well. This is such a quality canvas. The drills are really high quality. We will talk a little bit more about that once we get set up. But I wanted to show you where I was. I have I don't remember what they're called. I have the canvas clamps from Bella Art de Nicole. So I like to roll the finished portion up. So that's what I'm going to do. I unrolled to show you guys where we are, but I'm going to roll back up so that the little kitty cat is about right here so that I can comfortably work on the kitty cat's face. And then we'll jump back in. Okay, we are back to our cutie kitty cat face. I wanted to show you the tools that I'm using. I just have a straightener in my Crafts by K pen. I have a couple of pens that I'm working with, and I can explain why in a minute, but I have a 5-placer in another Crafts by K pen. This one has Nebula Artistry wax in it. This is a strawberry. I really like this. And then the wax in this one is a sample that I got from Miss Creations by Danny when I purchased one of her pens. And then this pen has a 10-placer, and the putty in this one is the, it's not alien putty. I think they call it Galaxy putty from Grace. Oh, it's literally under my thumb. Wow. Intergalactic Putty from Grayson's Creations. I got it in the scent Sweet Vanilla. And then in the single placer on this one, I have scented glue dots from Oh Snap Crafters Cafe. These are strawberry milkshake. And I got one of their steel single placers when I ordered. I've been using the same glue dot for at least a week, I think, in this one. So he's really been hanging on. I can explain why I have two pens going in a little bit. But let me show you. And then my cover minder, which is slightly out of frame, is also from Oh Snap Crafters Cafe. I think this was originally going to be a charm at first, but it's a cute little kitty in a donut. I thought the pink kitty cat vibes were perfect for this painting. So those are all the tools that I'm using at the moment. Okay, so let's get started here. I hope everyone's doing well. Today is a Sunday for me. It's a Sunday afternoon. I know for me it is July 2025, wherever you're watching this. Maybe a different time and place, of course, but the world is, yeah, as usual, a scary place, but maybe scarier than normal. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you're able to find some brightness. This is my Muni Made tray. I can't turn it over to show you the logo, but there's a lot of 310 in this painting, of course. A hallmark of our wonderful Hannah Lynn paintings. So I've been using my gigantic Muni Made tray for the 310. So let's talk a little bit about, ooh, sorry, I'm shaking. I always forget. It's been so long since I recorded a WIP in chat. Okay, so like I said, I hope everyone is doing okay. I hope you're able to find some brightness in what is currently a pretty dark world. I also hope this video maybe brings you a little bit of brightness. I'm going to talk a little bit about the canvas, this project, and then talk a little bit about what's going on in my life. You can craft along with me. Like I said at the very beginning, it feels like a long time ago because I've done quite a few things, but for you, you're like, why is she saying it again? She said that 30 seconds ago. For me, it's been a little bit longer. So I have loved this canvas so far. I have, like I said, multiple tools because this is my first time working with a lot of 310, and I'm having some issues with my hands as well. So I've been pressing too hard. I can tell you why in a little bit, but I'm having some hand problems. But so in addition to working with this true black for the first time, or a lot of true black for the first time, I'm also pressing really hard. And I think, just like, I really believe that light colors are genuinely, the drills are physically smaller for light colors. I think for very dark colors, they're physically larger. So it's been a little bit difficult in some spots for me to fit everybody in. This is a pretty tight canvas, like the drill field is pretty tight, which I really like. These drills are really high quality as well. This has been a really delightful canvas to work on. But because this is my first experience with all this 310, and because I'm having some issues with my hands, I ended up using multiple tools, like a much smaller multi-placer, because the 5 multi-placer, because in some places, because I found that working in much smaller sections when I was multi-placing a lot, or color blocking a lot of the 310, working in smaller sections gave me much better results. And also just sort of slowing down and not rushing through it. I ended up not coming up with places where I needed to like really shove everything in. So I'm loving this canvas. I think this is a gorgeous canvas. I can't wait to get another one from Hannah Lynn. I do have a few Hannah Lynn's from Dreamer Designs that I think I'm going to try and film an unboxing video for today. But I'm really thrilled with this canvas. It just was a little bit of a learning curve with the 310. And then, like I said, my hand issue sort of compounded that. And so I ended up sort of panicking. And then I was like, I think this is mostly a you problem. And like, you're experiencing this for the first time. So I just was not used to all the dark colors, which are so much larger. So, and the color blocking. So her sweater over here, which you saw at the beginning, that was a little bit of a struggle to for me to fit everybody in there, which I think maybe if you're experienced with 310 and color blocking 310, maybe that wouldn't be the case for you. For me, it was a little difficult. But these drills are really high quality. I haven't had many trashy drills at all, and especially the dark colors. They seem really high quality. I'm really pleased with this. It seems like every part of this kit is high quality. I felt bad once I filmed a sort of unboxing video for this, and I kind of always disclaimer that I'm just doing it for fun, of course. And on that one especially, I even said, if you want to see the real version, the good one, go look over here at the real. I think Hannah sent one out as a PR to someone as an official sneak peek. Go look at that one. But once I started kitting it up, I was like, man, I didn't mention, of course the kit came with individual stickers for your jar system, and I ended up finding that, so this is my first time, I guess, I didn't realize, but this is the first time I ended up with a sort of a packing list where they give you the quantity and weight for each of your bags of drills. And I found that was kind of interesting. It's been nice to sort of have on my table as a quick cheat sheet for finding the drill symbol that I need. And it was also nice when I was kitting up because I figured out that my little art dot jars, each one holds about 1,800 square drills. So that was kind of interesting for planning purposes. So I'm really pleased with the quality of this kit. It's very high quality. And the drills themselves are like very nice and thick, and they're really some of the the most sparkly square drills I've seen. They're really nice. They're really high quality. So, sorry, dead air because I'm preparing to do the least comfortable part for me, which is where I talk about myself. So I haven't filmed a WIP and chat in a while. I have filmed a few other little videos, but I've been sort of, whoops. See, self, that shouldn't happen. Okay. Sorry. So I've been filming videos, but I don't think I filmed anything last weekend. I was working on something. I'll tell you a little bit about that later, but trying to keep my thoughts straight here. But I had my, I'm going to assume, I'm so sorry. There's so much dead air. I'm just trying to, I even wrote notes. I even made myself notes. So I have several chronic illnesses. I have celiac disease. I have something called Sjogren's syndrome. Sorry. So because of the Sjogren's syndrome and the celiac disease, which are both autoimmune conditions, I see a rheumatologist regularly. I also have thyroid conditions and, some other assorted things. So because of the Sjogren's syndrome, I see a rheumatologist semi-regularly. At this point, I only see her every year, or I had only been seeing her every year. We're just sort of checking in to run our yearly labs. So I had my yearly appointment, and I brought up to her, hey, things are not going well. I'm having a lot of flare-ups. I'm in pain a lot of the time. Things are not going well. And she said, well, I don't think this is actually your Sjogren's syndrome. I don't think this is a Sjogren's syndrome flare-up. I think you have fibromyalgia. I was like, no, thank you. Nope. That's actually the opposite of what I wanted you to say. I don't want that. Never mind. Sorry I brought it up. I was not happy. She did say, so she was very helpful, but she had an alternative. She said, well, it could be, inflammatory arthritis. So we'll run your inflammation markers today as part of your normal lab work. And then the next time that you feel you're in a flare up, you can come in and we can talk about, I'll examine you and see if you are inflamed, and we can go from there. That will help us determine if you have fibromyalgia or inflammatory arthritis. And I said, well, I can tell you that I am almost positive that it's fibromyalgia now that you've said that, because if those are my two options, I'm not experiencing inflammation. I'm experiencing widespread pain, but I can't see or feel the inflammation that you're describing. And I've had other people examine me in these times when I'm feeling this pain, and there's nothing for them to see or diagnose. She's like, yep, I think you have fibro, but we'll, go downstairs and get your lab work done. So I went down and got my lab work done, and my inflammation was like almost zero. It was like nothing. This is I was kind of impressed with myself. I was like, this is amazing how low my inflammation was. But so I saw her and got this information. I was kind of crushed. She handed me this sheet, like a fibromyalgia information sheet. And she's like, does any of this sound familiar? And I was like, I have every single one of these symptoms? ? She's like, yeah, yep. And she was helpful. She said, if this is what's wrong with you, I'm not opposed to getting you medication, but we just need to find out if this is what's wrong. Okay, fine. So I was pretty upset. And then that weekend, I had another bad weekend. It was, pretty painful weekend, and I didn't do anything particularly daunting. I ran some errands. So instead of going to just the grocery store, I went to I guess 4 different stores. I went to Petco, and then I ran into the Dollar Tree, which is in the same plaza, and then Hobby Lobby, which is in the same plaza, and then I ran into Michael's, which is nearby, and then I must have run into Publix or a grocery store to get actual food. So I guess 5 stores. And that was too much. That was too much exertion. And so I was miserable. So I called her first thing on that Monday. Said, okay, let's talk about medication. And she was able to get me in on Tuesday, and I went in. And she was like, yeah, you have no inflammation. And I said, well, I'm in pain. So I was pretty upset originally with that she had told me that I had fibromyalgia. When I first, it's like in 2020 when I first started getting sick, when I had all these mystery symptoms, and I had a positive ANA. If you have autoimmune issues that will sound familiar to you, that's where, oh gosh, I don't have a good definition of it for you right now. But I had a positive ANA, which is basically just a test that confirms that your immune system is attacking you. So, but before I had the ANA and I was just randomly in a lot of excruciating pain, oh, did that pop off just now, or did I knock it off some other time? So when I was just randomly in excruciating pain, of course, fibromyalgia was one of the options. And so I was like mildly relieved actually when the ANA came back, because that meant that it probably wasn't fibromyalgia, because fibromyalgia isn't an autoimmune disorder. It's more like a central nervous system disorder. And you can't see it on a test. There's no test for fibromyalgia, right? You don't get a positive ANA. So, and I had been so relieved back then because fibromyalgia is really widely misunderstood, even among, I think, in my low-level understanding, even among the medical community. People don't trust it as a diagnosis because there isn't a test necessarily. It's more like a syndrome. So syndromes are collections of symptoms. And so a lot of people feel that fibromyalgia should be a syndrome. It's, some people think it's not even a real thing. It's a complicated diagnosis to have. And so it's not one that I wanted, because I felt like things were complicated enough as it was. So I was pretty upset to have that maybe diagnosis on the table, and then to have it confirming it wasn't that big of a deal, because once she handed me that paper in her office, I was like, oh, I have this. It was essentially no question. Once she handed me that paper, I was like, oh, yeah, I could diagnose this for myself. But I'm really grateful that she was very helpful and she was willing to work with me so quickly on medication. So I guess I will say, so fibromyalgia is, the way she explained it to me, which was very helpful, is that it's not an autoimmune disorder. It's as far as people understand it now, it's a disorder of the central nervous system. And so your nervous system interprets certain stimuli as pain when it should not. and other things. That's like a terrible the like um seeing not seeing the processing some things as pain when it's not was very like eye-opening to me. Um so that makes a lot of sense for me, particularly when I feel like I should just be feeling tired or maybe like even like mildly sore in some way, and instead I feel like excruciating pain. Like yeah, that doesn't make sense. But and when you're experiencing that, your brain, did I do that wrong? When you're experiencing that, obviously it's hard to think through like what's happening here. And I would never have made the connection of like, well, your central nervous system is blah blah blah. Wow. Um, so it was really helpful to get that explanation. There's more to it than that, but that was the most helpful thing that was said. So when we started talking about medication, I was very hopeful to try Lyrica. Lyrica is like from what I understand, sort of top of the line treatment for fibromyalgia. Um, I have pretty good insurance. I'm an attorney. I've mentioned that before. I'm obvious. You may not assuming that everyone watches my every single video on my channel. I just I'm an attorney. I have pretty good health insurance. My health insurance won't cover Lyrica until I try this other drug, and I won't name it specifically, but it's a pretty common nerve pain drug. So we started on a very low dose, and I have to like very slowly creep up, and eventually we either get to a point where it's not working and I'm too drowsy to do my job, or some other variation of it working or not working. So and then I can maybe try Lyrica, and hopefully it works. I don't want it to, I'm not hoping that it doesn't work, but it was a little bit frustrating. I've gone through this before with other medical treatments. I had to have an iron infusion a few years ago, and I had to go through several rounds of different versions, like older generation iron infusion, like formulations. Um, some of which made me very sick before my insurance would pay for the like top of the line one. So I'm not new to this, but it was another kind of blow in the moment. I mean, it's so I'm just in this sort of complicated place where I'm like, I want to be grateful that I have a diagnosis and I have a doctor who is willing to help me work through the medications that I need and is willing to get me the medications that I need. And I am grateful for that. And I'm also simultaneously very frustrated by the fact that I have this disease, by the fact that our medical system is set up this way and that I have to try things that are not like the best option. I don't. Anyway, so the first few days that I tried this nerve pain medication, I had pretty good results. Um, And I'm still having okay results. We've bumped up a little bit. This week I'll go up again. But one of the side effects that I've noticed is that my feeling in my hands, it's very, very subtle. So it's not to a point where I'm like a danger. I'm certainly not like a danger to myself, but for like in terms of like very fine motor skills, like diamond painting, for instance, I'm having some issues. So you guys saw me like whatever weird thing happened over here with the drills where I just kind of like scrooshed them all over the place, which happens to me normally sometimes, but so I think what's happening is that I lost temporarily, like losing a little bit of the sensation there, and so that's one of the reasons, like I said earlier, that I was like pressing so hard when I was doing my diamond painting earlier when I first started, and when I was working on these 310s, which are like I said, this is a little bit tighter drill field, which is really nice, but I'm not familiar with working with these like color blocking 310s and things like that. And so I was like pressing so hard, and I was snapping a couple of my friends because in one day I was using plastic multiplacers, and in one day I broke 2 of them because I was just like pressing so hard, and I just snapped them right off. And I've broken a few multiplacers before, but like not a lot, like maybe 2 or 3. And so to break 2 in a day, I was like, what is wrong with me? What's happening? And then finally I realized, like, yeah, you just can't, you're not feeling like you normally feel. And so like you're pressing a lot harder than you normally would because you're like the sensations are not quite right. Which is, it's just kind of funny. So I've been like trying so hard to like, okay, slow down, like don't press like a mad person. It's just kind of, it was like a very weird side effect. I'm like, do I call this is not on like the list that my pharmacist gave me, like call your doctor if you start breaking your plastic multiplacers when you're doing your diamond painting. So obviously I switched to my metal ones. I'm like, well, I'm not going to snap anymore. I don't want to snap anymore. I mean, I have like quite a collection of the little plastic ones, but I don't want to keep breaking them. How many would I go through in this one diamond painting, you know? Goodness. Um yeah, so last weekend, because I had started the new medication and I was feeling so much better, I had a wave of excitement, as any chronic illness, chronic illness people, as any person with chronic illness can tell you when you get that like wave of relief and you're like, all right, well, I'm going to do all the things. So I painted one of my living room walls. I think I mentioned in maybe my last whip and chat that I had painted the 2 shorter walls in my living room. My living room is like a long rectangle. So at one point a few months ago, I painted the 2 short walls of my living room. They're like it's called Smoky Grape. It's a dark purple. And that, of course, this was like before my diagnosis, and that sent me into like a pretty bad flare up. I was like down for the count for like a week and a half. It was bad. So I started taking this medication. I'm like, I feel better than I felt in months. Like, it's time to finish the living room. It's time to like keep working on the living room because obviously I have 2. Ooh, see, what was that even? Whatever. It's time to like keep working on the living room. So I painted the one of the longer walls, and I framed almost all of my completed diamond paintings and hung them up, and I was able to frame a lot of the prints that I purchased and put those up on that wall. So you guys saw from the beginning, the wall behind me obviously still needs to be painted, and I still have diamond paintings and prints to put on that wall. They're waiting patiently. I did not have the stamina to do that this weekend because, like I said, as people with chronic illness, chronic fatigue know, once you get the big swing upwards, there is a swing downwards. So I was, yep, okay, I did too much. But my wall turned out beautifully. So I did, like I said, the two smaller walls, shorter walls are in like a smoky grape, and then I did this other wall in, it's basically white, but it's supposed to be like a extremely light purple. But the effect is just that it's like a very cool toned, pale, like I said, almost white. It's sort of like the kind of white you'd see in a doctor's office where you're like, it's not quite white, but it's a cool tone, which I love. I'm a cool toned gal. So that was lovely. One of the other things I used all that, not, I guess it was energy, I guess, but like all that, like, okay, we're here, we have the medication, we have some options. I realized, like, okay, like in the moment, even I knew, okay, this is temporary, so you need to get things together in such a way that when this goes down, you still don't, you can keep going. One of the things that I've had a really hard time with is that I have a very large plant collection, and I live in South Carolina. It's really hot during the summer. And so a lot of my plants are outside, so they would need daily care, but I am often not capable of giving them daily care. So I would get into this cycle of taking care of them and then not being able to for a few days or a week, and then realizing that they were not doing well, like rushing to try and fix them, feeling like shame and guilt, and then not being, the cycle continues over and over again. So the cycle was just like continuing to be disappointed that I couldn't take care of these living things that I have made myself responsible for. So I last weekend ended up giving away a very large portion of my plant collection. And I thought I would be just devastated, but it was such a relief. And that sounds like maybe terrible. I'm sure there are plant people, if you're a plant person, that maybe sounds horrible, but I posted on, I'm not, if you're familiar with like a buy, like BUY, buy nothing group. They're supposed to be like trade groups. So there's a local one, and I posted a lot of my plants there, or I posted some of my bigger ones, and I made it as short as I could, but I was trying to explain, like, I want these to go to loving homes because I do love them, but I needed to explain, like, why some of them were in, like, not great shape. And so I explained, like, I have some health issues that I've been struggling with, and I love these plants, but I've had a hard time taking care of them. I can't consistently take care of them, so I need them to go to loving homes. And the response was overwhelming. It was something like 60 different people responded to me. And it felt so much like all you needed to do was ask for help. Like, it felt a little bit like it was kind of silly for you to think that you were the only person who was capable of taking care of these plants. Um, it just felt good. Like, I don't know, maybe that feels like I'm like still shaming myself, but um, it was just such a relief for them to be out of my house or out of my backyard in some cases. And people were so kind. Um, even just when they were coming, in the comments as they were being like, okay, I'm interested. Like, I'm also so sorry you're going through this. And then there was one woman who came to pick up like an aloe plant, like a few days after I posted it. And I was just like planning to just like run. She messaged me like, okay, I'm here. And I was thinking I'm just like gonna run the plant out to her car. And she gets out of her car and is like, I'm so sorry you're going through this. And I was like, what is she talking about? Oh, I forgot. I told everybody about that. Oh, no. Oh, thank you so much for your kind words. Everyone was so sweet and kind, and everyone was so thrilled to like have the plants. Um, it was so lovely, and it was like so many moms rolling up to my house to collect plants. It was so lovely. I just like felt so happy to know that all these plants were going to a good home. It was good. And then I just did a few other like random little things to try and make life easier. I don't know. Um, that's the goal. I feel like I set the bar too high. Maybe. Maybe. Not may I know I do. So, um, obviously I'm not gonna get rid of the cats, but like it's like making my life like accepting my life for what it is. Accepting that I have, even if I don't have a limitation in the moment, like, yeah, there's gonna be a day when you feel so badly that, like, yes, you do have this limitation in that time. So, like, why don't you go ahead and prepare for that? And that's fine. That's completely acceptable. It's hard to think in that way, but I'm trying to do it. And it's worked out. And in some ways, I did, this is kind of silly, but I replaced a lot of my light bulbs this week with a lot of the. I moved into this house last year, and in this like day and age, light bulbs last forever. I feel like, right? It says on the box like 9 years or something. Anyway, a lot of the light bulbs in this house were like the bright white, not bright white, the like soft white, whatever the like amberish yellow color is. And I realized that was making me sad, which is funny because the day after I bought the daylight light bulbs, I saw some sort of meme on Facebook that was making fun of people who use daylight light bulbs. But I need the bright, natural, fake natural, fake natural light, and it's made such a difference. My house is now lit up like a surgical suite, and I love it. It's great. It's fantastic. Why did I take that off of there if it was supposed to go on, up there? See, what was the point of all that? Okay. Yeah, so having my house lit up like a surgical suite makes me perfectly happy. Love that. maybe that's not an obvious thing, but like, yeah, silly little changes to try and make things easier. I don't know. I'm just looking for opportunities to try and make things a little easier for myself. Because life is hard. Life is hard normally. And for whatever reason, I'm like primed to play on hard mode, which is not necessary. It's really not. So, yeah. So that's what we're working on. The medication is sort of helping. It wasn't helping as much this week, which was weird because I had just gone up to the next dose and I was really frustrated with it. But I feel okay this weekend. Very strange. So, yeah. I have been enjoying this time painting. See, like, why am I pressing so hard? You don't have to do that. Snap. Well, now I lost one. Get back in there. She's a little tight, but I don't know if that's me. I don't know. People who have more experience with 310s have to weigh in on this. I assume it's me. I love it nonetheless because the effect when it's done is, I mean, it's so tight, but the effect is perfection. I mean, it's gorgeous, so it's fine if I have to slightly suffer. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. Just trying to make things a little. My rheumatologist was like, "You should try gentle exercise, maybe Tai Chi." I was like, "I'm not gonna do that," but I did. I found, YouTube University. I found several different Tai Chi channels, and they're pretty cool. Not bad. I don't think I'm doing it right, but it's fun. Should we do his little eyeballs real quick before we finish up? Because I feel like I don't know how satisfying this has been for you guys so far. Okay, let's do just his little winky eyeballs. So, yeah, that's where I am. I don't know. I don't mean to I hope it didn't feel like whining the whole time. Like I said, it's a complicated situation for me because I feel like I should be quite grateful that I have a diagnosis and that I have a doctor who's willing to prescribe medication without a lot of back and forth. I have been seeing her for a long time at this point, but there's just so much that goes with it. So that's where I've been all this time. I've been painting one wall of my house and trying to deal with life. Yeah. So I do still have plenty of plants left. I didn't get rid of all of them. I got rid of the largest ones, the ones that were most difficult for me to take care of. The cats are doing quite well. Oh, this is so silly, but it was such a joyous moment for me this week. I called the vet about Winnie. I showed Winnie at the beginning. He's my big, fluffy, black and white kitty cat. I just adopted Winnie this year, and Winnie, his name was Winnie before I adopted him, but sweet Winnie is blind, or at least almost completely blind. And so I didn't want to change his name to anything. Obviously, kitty cats, all pets get any number of names, right? So he's Biggie Boy and Winston and Sir Winston and all sorts of things, but Win Bin is a common one, but he often gets misgendered because Winnie is not a common boy's name, not a common name for a boy. So, but when I called the vet this week about him, and the vet tech I was speaking to referred to him as Mr. Winnie. I just thought that just like gave me such a little like spike of joy. It was so lovely. It was so sweet. And just it was just like such a silly little fun thing for her to say. And I was like, yeah, he is Mr. Winnie. Everybody should be referring to him as Mr. Winnie. He is Mr. Winnie. Everyone be respectful to Mr. Winnie. I love that little guy. It was so sweet. Yeah. So everybody's doing quite well. Tulip had to go to the vet for her just a normal checkup, and she had to be drugged. She has to be drugged now just to go in the car. She gets very anxious in the car. She's not like being in the car. She's great at the vet, but getting in the car is a nightmare. So obviously she's in her kennel, but she does not enjoy anything about the ride. So drugging the cat before the appointment is just a whole thing. Like, can I get a butler or something? Like an assistant? She did okay, but she was pretty mad. Anyway, we're all doing good, but we're all doing okay. The cats are doing great. I'm doing okay. I hope you all are doing well. I think this is as far as I'm going to get with you all today, but I hope you have enjoyed listening to me ramble about things. I hope you all are doing well. I hope you are able to find some brightness in your day, some joy, even just for a moment. I hope you're able to create something today. Sorry, that's bothering me. And I hope I get to see you the next time. Look at his little eyeballs. So cutie pie. So cutie pie. I can't wait to see you guys the next time. Stay safe until I see you again. Bye.